Sometimes it feels like it's going to take our entire lifetime to figure out how to do life, how to do it in a way that leaves us, by and large, peaceful and joyous and fulfilled and safe and free. Wouldn't you agree that those are some of the most treasured values that we have, you know, to be peaceful, to be joyous, to be comfortable, to be safe, to be free to make the choices that we are inspired to make, or feel drawn to make, or called to make. Don't you think? Don't you think that that's what, at the end of the day, we will value most? Whether we do it as someone, a partner in a relationship, or whether we do it as a parent, or as a religious person, or a politician, or a social worker, or a teacher. All of those things are just ways in which we express ourselves in life. They don't necessarily define us. I don't think they do anyway. But they are kind of avatars within which, or frameworks within which we allow life to express itself uniquely through each one of us. But whichever a configuration, whichever framework we occupy or we embody, I think almost all of us would value these same things: freedom, peace, comfort and ease, abundance and joy. And the reason I'm mentioning this is because it seems to me like we most of us will spend our entire lifetimes trying to figure out how to do this, how to live and experience these values, how to bring these values alive within us, how to allow them to express themselves fully within us. Don't you think? I mean, do you personally know anyone who's really figured it out so that their lives are just completely peaceful and joyous, and they never get into a rut, or they never ever experience any kind of difficulty that they are always at the top of their game? Have you ever experienced somebody like that? Do you know someone like that? Are you someone like that? Because I know I'm certainly not that. And what I do know as well is that one of the things, there are a couple of things that I feel are just absolutely essential if we have any chance of living peaceful, joyous, free, fulfilled, comfortable, abundant lives. And there are a few things, and I just want to mention two of them just now. One of them I've learned is to not take things personally. Oh my God. Yeah, easier said than done, as they say. Don't take things personally. That's one heck of a lesson to try and master, right? One heck of a skill that we need to, or attitude that we really need to embody, a skill that we really need to master. Don't take anything personally. And what does that mean? What does that mean? It means that when something goes wrong, or when someone is unkind or nasty or mean toward us, or we lose our job, or we fall ill, all of those things, how do we not take them personally? The idea is not to take them personally, which means that we don't blame ourselves for things going wrong, and we don't condemn ourselves. We don't punish ourselves. We don't think ill of ourselves when these things happen, whether it's somebody being mean to us or whether it's falling ill. It's easy to take these things personally and say, oh, it was because I was this way, or I didn't do this, or I did do this, or because I hadn't been good about this, or hadn't maintained this kind of discipline. That's why this is happening to me. That's pretty much how we tend to take things personally. Now, does that mean that therefore, we say we don't have any part in anything? No, that's not what I'm saying. But we certainly don't blame everything on ourselves, and we don't condemn ourselves and judge ourselves harshly and unfavorably as a result. And so then what is the alternative? Well, the alternative, in my opinion, is to be able to look at whatever it is and just recognize, okay, this is happening, and it's not because I've been a bad person, or this is punishment or karma, or or whatever, or because life is just simply not fair toward me, or because of whatever I might have done, if not in this lifetime, maybe in a different lifetime. That's not what we want to do, but rather to say, hey, this is happening. I am here, and I'm feeling whatever it is that's happening, but it doesn't define me, and it doesn't in any way prevent me from doing something that is going to be more useful, that is going to take me in a different direction, that is going to put me in a different state and bring me to a different place, to a better state and a better place. I think that's the healthy alternative. At least that's what I aspire to do. So yeah, the first thing is that we don't take anything personally, and if somebody were to say something against us, or to find fault with us, or to be critical of us, to judge us in some way, I often find it useful to say, okay, that's their opinion of things. That's how they are seeing me and seeing the world. Does it mean that therefore that is absolutely true? It's objectively true? No. Not necessarily. Is it an opportunity to use whatever they might be saying as feedback? It could well be, yeah, sure. An opportunity to consider what they are saying and see if we can put it to good use. But to use it to condemn ourselves, or to blame ourselves in any way, that I don't think is helpful. So I think that's one of the big lessons and skills that I feel we need to learn. I certainly feel that is something that I've had to learn, and I continue to learn it, and I continue to try and master it, so that I don't take anything personally, even though that is tends to be the immediate reaction. I try to meet it and meet the situation or the other person without the baggage of judgment. So that's one thing, not taking things personally. And the other thing I think that I find is helpful to learn is that at the end of the day, nothing really matters. I know that sounds so anarchic and a radical. But I say that because, everything in life is, or everything that we communicate with each other and tell ourselves and tell other people are stories that we've learned to tell as a result of our various life experiences, as a result of what the stories that we have been told. And so why would we put so much weight, why would we give so much credence to stories that we're telling? And I don't care in which area of life and at what level of life, whether it is around a small domestic matter or on a huge political scale. They're all stories. They're all stories that we have learned to tell and that we have agreed to tell ourselves and others. And we are inclined to tell the stories that in some way benefit us, including the stories of judgment of others and judgment of ourselves. In some way, they seem to offer us some benefit telling those stories. Whether it is, in some cases, the benefit of self-pity, or the benefit of learned helplessness. If I tell this story, which might be considered a story of victimhood, then it enables me to express helplessness. And when that's become a habit, it's called learned helplessness, where we solicit in the pity and the help of other people, not because they see us, not because we are completely incapable of doing anything, but more because we are showing them and telling them that we are helpless. So what I am saying here is that we are constantly telling stories. We are storytellers. We're constantly telling stories, and it's important to recognize that we are telling the stories that, for better or for worse, we believe are benefiting us, provide us with some kind of benefit. And yet, at the most fundamental level, none of those stories actually are true and ultimately matter. The stories only matter if they help us, if they help to bring out the best in us, if they help to make us more free, if they help us to find that true freedom, the true integrity, the peace and the joy within us. If the stories help us to do that, then sure, go ahead and tell those stories. But even then, understand that they are just a means to an end. They are not objectively and absolutely true. They're just tales we tell ourselves. Well, there you go. I've kind of launched into a bit of a lecture almost. Didn't intend to do it like that. I'm just honestly just sharing how I see things. And admittedly, it was prompted by something that happened earlier in the day when I witnessed people getting, following a very spiritual moment where we spoke about love and there is nothing but love, and sang some songs about the beauty of life and all its goodness, etc., etc. And almost immediately after that, there was an altercation. An altercation because on the one hand, people were taking things that were being said very personally, as if it was a personal affront, as if it was a personal attack on them, on the one hand. And on the other hand, of course, they were telling stories that were hurtful. Ah, my goodness. So there you go. Anyway, enough said for tonight. I hope you care to share some of your thoughts on this, and wherever you are, and whatever time of day or night it is for you, I really do hope that you've experienced all the freedom and all the peace and all the comfort and abundance and all the joy of life, whether or not you do it through story, and whether or not you take it personally. Yeah, do share thoughts. Till next time. Bye.